Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're Team Green Biofuelers, and our thesis topic is BIODIESEL Our team is composed of Jimmy Fernandez, Milton Diaz, and myself, Luis Perez. Our team advisor is Dr. Tremante, and our sponsor is Green Biofuels. Basically, our project consists of designing and developing a pretreatment station for existing biodiesel plant, and it will help separate solids and liquids out of green waste vegetable oil, in order to obtain a higher percentage of feedstock treatable for biodiesel production. Biodiesel is mainly it's an advanced biofuel derived from agricultural bioproducts and co-products such as vegetable waste, vegetable oil, and animal fats. It can be used in any blend of petroleum diesel fuel, and it must meet, to be called biodiesel, it must meet quality standards of ISTM D6751. Originally, but typically, biodiesel was developed from vegetable oil. Currently, the industry is shifting to a different way of producing it from waste vegetable oil, which is mainly divided into two categories, which is yellow grease and brown grease. Brown grease is that sludgy part that you find in grease trap waste. Next slide. Our project is highly motivated by reducing fossil fuel dependency and undesirable gas emissions. Our objective is to design an efficient purification, oil purification waste station, and we can do that by we can achieve all those goals by, and the same way, helping transform waste into energy form.
A quick overview of Green Biofuels' existing plant. They lack, obviously, the pre-cleaning section, so they purchase the recycled oil already purified. They put the oil through a transesterification process where biodiesel and glycerol are separated. Then the biodiesel is washed, dried, and it's ready to be sold. Green Biofuels lacks this pre-cleaning section of their plant. This makes them highly dependent and limited to purchasing pre-cleaned waste vegetable oil, which is more expensive. Our proposed design would increase their raw material intake from what they have right now, probably 20%, to an 80 to 90% of the market. This is how we propose to do this. The raw material, as it comes into the holding tanks, will be pre-filtered by a screen. In the tank, sedimentation process will take place, accelerated by slightly heating the oil. Transfer pump will send the already pre-cleaned oil to the centrifuge. In the centrifuge, most of the cleaning of the oil is going to take place. Almost all the water and organic debris are going to be separated from the oil. Then it's going to pass through a smaller micron filtering membrane, and then it's ready for the biodiesel plant. A rough cost estimate of our design. The most expensive component is the centrifuge. It's also our most important one. It ranges from the $500 to $5,000. We've seen more complex centrifuges in the $10,000. Go ahead. So important design aspects to consider: the holding tank sizes, the size of the holding tanks. The tanks are already acquired by the company. They do not fit in the plant. The distance from the tank to the plant is going to be significant, being that the tanks are going to be installed outside the plant. And also the type of centrifuge is also important to consider.
Some ethical considerations are that we want to make a biodiesel pretreatment station that is safe to operate. We also want to make a high quality biodiesel using our methods to remove contaminants, debris, water, waste from the biodiesel. And we also want to be able to help reduce pollution from the environment. The Asia Pacific Clean Energy Summit and Expo is a gathering where many nations and companies from around the world get together and discuss environmental problems and find solutions using clean energy. This is significant because it's a prime example of global awareness, and our group is also able to participate. Challenging aspects are that we have to implement the biodiesel station to the existing plant, and one of the problems that we have is that the tanks that they use do not fit into the existing plant, so we have to develop a way to connect the pumps and centrifuges to the plant using our station. These components are very pricey, and we also have to find a way to connect all these components, and that's going to require plenty of piping, and that's also going to increase our expenses. We are also trying to attend the expo where this is scheduled. This is the proposed timeline. As you can see, we are going to invest more time in making our prototype. In conclusion, I would like to say that we will try to create a biodiesel pretreatment station that is effective and will also help us protect the environment and make it cleaner. Thank you.
All right.
Questions?
Is your prototype going to be full-scale production machine?
No, it's going to be based on small platform with small, everything scaled down.
Okay.
The actual design is going to be actually constructed by, and sponsored by the company itself.
Okay. And then the question I want to ask on that is that obviously the system will be a series of components. Each has an input, each has an output. Have you looked through all of those segments and verified that you've got all the outputs identified and ways to handle them? And I'll use an example. If the centrifuge doesn't take all of the particles out, have you scaled the micro filters to be large enough that you're not going to block them up on your first cycle, and now all of a sudden you shut down the whole system?
Right. That's something that we didn't put in the presentation, but it's something that we've considered before, that we might need to recycle the oil before once obviously, but
All
twice.
of those systems need to be balanced relative to each other. That's the systems dynamics approach. So that if it's the volume coming out of this portion of the machine system has to be, the next system has to be capable of handling that volume. Next system has to be capable of handling that volume.
Right. When we're in the middle of developing the prototype, obviously, as output is coming out of the centrifuge, we're going to see testing the oil. We're going to see how much content of water and debris is coming out. Then afterwards, we'll classify whatever type of filter that we're going to use.
Yeah, so we're saying it's going to put the filter in there with test.
Right. Definitely.
Yeah, my question has to do with looking forward. Where are you likely to get or efficiently get your feedstock for this process?
The feedstock will be acquired by our sponsors, BIOFUELS. We will basically get the feedstock they use for the plant, and we're implementing our pre-treatment station and test and run it there. Once we get it running and get everything working properly, we'll bring those samples back to the plant, and we'll use the laboratory to see if the samples meet the standards that they need for biodiesel production.
And to add to that, we have already accumulated some used vegetable oil. So
One thing I've noticed
from barbecues
is that centrifuges, it's a gravitational centrifuge, right? There's no mechanical moving parts in it.
it could be either of the two. It could be a passive centrifuge or an active one.
Because if you're using a passive, I think it doesn't scale really well.
Well,
You know, so
that's most of probably
particle size and all is dependent on velocity and acceleration on that. So if you scale it down, you might not have enough time for it to go around and split. So you got to think about that.
most probably we're gonna have to adapt an active centrifuge with being the distance from the tank to the actual plant, an active centrifuge and a pretty powerful oil pump.
As a segue to that, you may also want to have a system to screen the feedstock just to make sure that's going to provide the kind of quality that you need to efficiently and effectively go through the system.
It will part of the process on not only passing it through a centrifuge. I'm sorry, that word just keeps giving me trouble. We'll be passing it through membrane filters and to pre-filter those high particles of solids and continue the process. Once we get all the process synchronized, then we will actually see if the prototype will work or not. Like testing the samples is the only way of finding out our final product.
Yeah, I got one more. And go back to the slide where you had like a flow chart where you separate the biodiesel ready for market. There was once you go through this whole process and you get your biodiesel, what's going to happen with the glycerin? What you thought about that?
Well, you want to resolve that?
Yes, sir. The company they don't get only biodiesel out of the whole treatment process. They get some bioproducts, which is glycerin. They sell it and they use it for candles and other stuff like that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And in the future, if our pre-treatment station works fine, they can also start developing like fertilizer and stuff like that out of the solids that we get out of our pre-treatment. So they can keep developing some byproducts out of the biodiesel, which is extra revenue for them.
Something important that we have to really overstate is that green biofuels right now they're limited to the amount of feedstock they're using, because they can only use really clean waste vegetable oil. They cannot use like 0.5% of water of vegetable oil. They can't use that because their plant is not equipped to clean that. So
Right.
that's what our design is for.
That's it.
All right.